Most people don't have a discipline problem. They have an indulgence addiction. They say they want success, freedom, control, but their daily behavior says the opposite. This isn't about motivation. This isn't about working harder. This is about understanding why your brain pulls toward indulgence and away from discipline. Indulgence isn't just laziness. It's immediate gratification. Scrolling, smoking, junk food, avoiding hard tasks. Anything that feels good right now at the expense of something later. And the problem is, your brain is wired to choose it. We are all victims of our indulgences at some point. The key is being aware of that behavior and avoiding overindulgence just to prevent painful tasks or more difficult situations because you have a need to get that immediate payoff. In the way the world is designed now, instant gratification is everywhere. It didn't used to be like this. Now your brain runs on reward signals. Dopamine, we talked about this before, equals the anticipation of reward. Not just pleasure, but seeking that pleasure. It's even been said that the thrill of the hunt is more enjoyable itself than the actual kill. Think about that. So when you indulge, quick dopamine spike, low effort, instant reward. When you choose discipline, delayed reward, higher effort, uncertainty. So naturally, your brain prefers indulgence. That's why when people struggle to get ahead and they think it's too hard, or I just lack capabilities, or it's being gatekept. Some of that stuff is true, but most of it is just giving into our brain's lesser impulses based on our dopamine system. And this ties back into neuroscience again. The more you indulge, the easier it becomes to keep doing it. Habit loop equals cue, behavior, reward. Repetition strengthens the pathway. The cycle repeats. Over time, indulgence stops being a choice. It becomes your default. Now, when you know you got priorities, going against those priorities becomes automatic. And then we start to build on top of that and reinforce that behavior by telling ourselves shit like, oh, I deserve it. Oh, I worked hard. I'm gonna go out and get fucked up all weekend. Knowing you got shit you need to do. Now, when discipline is introduced to you, it feels unnatural. Most people think comfort is the goal. It's not. Comfort is what keeps you exactly where you are. There's nothing wrong with wanting comfort out of life, right? But that's not the main goal of human existence. It's just to sit and be comfortable. People like to bring up simpler times of the past. That shit wasn't simple. It was life or death every day. Mortality rate sky high. Not knowing which foods to eat, or when a larger creature might maul you to death. People have this idea in their mind that we was just out frolicking and not working. Bullshit. We didn't get to where we are just out in nature, just frolicking and communing with the animals and the plants. We didn't get all the things that we have by that being the baseline default. Now, labor for financial gain is fairly new, but work and discipline and responsibility and prioritizing things, our survival, is not new. It's not a new occurrence. We may not have had a way to quantify it back then, but I guarantee you people worked 40 hours a week. It just wasn't called or designed the way that it is today. So with that in mind, the brain is designed to conserve energy, avoid discomfort, repeat what's familiar. So when you say I don't feel like doing it, it's not logic, it's biology. I ain't feel like it today. Hell, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't even feel like recording. But I'm conditioning and have conditioned myself to do shit even when I don't feel like doing it. That's discipline. The real consequence of choosing indulgence every time is you reinforce that pattern of behavior. Every time you avoid discipline, you weaken your ability to act. And over time, your life becomes a reflection of those small decisions. They compound. Not your intentions, your actions. You could have intended to do everything under the blue sky, but if you don't act, your intentions mean nothing. Now, this goes deeper than habits. It becomes identity. I touched on it a couple of videos ago when we look at a person's actions and we wonder why would they do such a thing? That was so stupid. I would never. Because their identity dictates it. Identity outweighs logic all the goddamn time. We see it every day. That's why it doesn't make sense to some of us, because that's not what you identify with. So the actions of that individual, I'm not speaking on nobody specific, just giving a broad general example, it baffles your mind because your identity says that you would never. It's foolish. Their identity says otherwise. If you consistently choose indulgence, you start to see yourself as someone who avoids difficulty, lacks control, doesn't follow through. And once that identity forms, you act in alignment with it. And it becomes more and more difficult to change that behavioral pattern. I know older people like that to this day. Discipline is not motivation or intensity. Discipline is doing what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. It's choosing long-term control over short-term comfort. And most importantly, it's choosing it consistently. I used to lack discipline within my own life. And no, I haven't reached the status that I would like to be at just yet. I'm getting there. But through my consistent actions and my change in my behavior patterns, I have reached stability financially, personally, relationally, emotionally, legally. I can drive now without worrying about the outcome if the police pull me over because I'm all the way legit. Doing things I know I did not feel like doing, but they had to be done in order to push my life forward. You don't rise because of what you want. You rise because of what you repeat. Indulgence feels good in the moment, but it costs you later. Discipline feels hard in the moment, but it pays you back over time. So the real question is, which one are you reinforcing? And I leave you with this thought. Are your daily choices truly aligned with the life that you want to have and the reality that you're trying to shape? Sit with that. Subscribe to reality.